Ever scroll through your phone and just, get that feeling like you're stuck in this weird echo chamber?
Yeah.
Like all you see is the same kind of stuff over and over.
Yeah.
It's almost like something's like curating my feed for me,
Definitely.
Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're looking at this piece by Carlos Villalobos, and he asks this. Well, it's kind of the big question, right? Are we actually the ones in control of the information we see? Or is it these algorithms, kind of pulling the strings?
And Villalobos really gets at the heart of it all, how overwhelming it feels. He uses this phrase, talks about the vast ocean of the web and how much information is out there. It's like, how are you even supposed to navigate all that without something guiding you?
Yeah, it's true. It's like we swapped out the old gatekeepers, like newspaper editors and all that, for these new ones, algorithms. But how we even get here?
Yeah.
Like Villalobos, he takes it back to like the beginning, the early internet. Back then, everyone was saying information was going to be free. And everyone would be able to share their voice, have a say. Remember that?
Oh, totally. That was the whole idea, right? The internet was supposed to be this big, democratizing force.
Right.
But the thing is, the same tech that was supposed to liberate us, give us all this freedom, it's the same tech that's collecting all this data on us, building a profile, and then that's how they shape what we see, what we click on, and it ends up influencing how we think.
It's kind of funny when you think about it. Like back in the day, everyone was worried about the government listening in on our conversations.
Right.
And now we're just handing over all our data to these big tech companies every time we use our phones. But so how did this happen? How did all this data collection lead to algorithms, like controlling what we see?
Well, it all boils down to attention.
Okay.
Every click you make, every minute you spend scrolling that's valuable info for these companies.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Villalobos, he calls attention the most valuable commodity in this digital age.
Wow.
And he's not wrong. Think about it. How do companies make their money online? Ads.
True.
The more people are glued to their screens, the more ads they see, and, well, these companies make more money.
So we're stuck in this system now where our attention is basically the product. And everyone's fighting over it. It's like we're auctioning off our eyeballs or something, except no one told us there was a bidding war going on.
It's true. And that's where these algorithms come into play. They're designed to keep us engaged, keep us scrolling, keep us clicking, even if it means, and this is the crazy part, even if it means feeding us content that's totally sensationalized or even misleading, or sometimes just straight up wrong.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they know how to play us. They tap into our emotions or fears, things we're insecure about. It's all to keep us scrolling, clicking, engaging.
So it's not even about showing us what we want to see anymore.
Yep.
It's about showing us whatever's going to keep us hooked, even if it's bad for us.
Pretty much.
No wonder it feels like we're drowning in clickbait and outrage all the time. But okay, what do we do about it? Seriously, what can we actually do? So we're stuck in this, what do you call it, this attention economy thing.
Yeah.
This constant fight for our eyeballs and attention, where the loudest, most, outrageous voices are the ones that win.
It's definitely a challenge, no doubt about it. But, Villalobos, he doesn't think it's all doom and gloom. He actually has some practical advice for how to deal with all this, how to navigate this whole landscape.
Okay, good. Give me some hope here.
Yeah.
What can we do? It feels like we're just at the mercy of these algorithms,
Well, I think it starts with understanding the rules of the game, right? Villalobos talks about something called media literacy. Basically, it means being more aware of how information is made, shared, and let's be real, how it's manipulated online.
Okay.
It's about questioning everything, who wrote this, why'd they share it, what's their angle.
So we need to be internet detectives or something, looking for clues and stuff.
Exactly. Be a critical consumer of information. And part of that is recognizing those tactics, the ones they use to manipulate us. Emotional appeals are huge. If an article or a video is trying to make you angry or scared, there's a good chance it's playing right into those algorithmic biases we were talking about.
So take a breath, don't hit that share button right away and be wait, is this really how I feel?
Yeah.
Or am I being played?
Exactly. And it's not just about avoiding, being manipulated. It's also about seeking out different points of view, It's so easy to get stuck in our own little bubbles online. We only see stuff that confirms what we already believe.
Right, like how social media always recommends those friends and groups that have the exact same opinions as you. It's comfortable, but it's not like it makes you think. you know?
Exactly. And that's where Villalobos' point about diverse media comes in. We have to be intentional, go out of our way to find information from all sorts of different sources even, and maybe especially from sources that challenge what we think.
It's like they always say, you are what you eat, but for our minds, right?
Right.
If we only consume the same type of information, we're not going to grow or learn anything new.
Exactly. And there are so many options out there. We've got, traditional news, independent journalists, bloggers, podcasts like ours, and so much more. It's about finding sources you trust, but also being open to listening to different voices, even if you don't agree with them.
But even with all these different sources, how do we know what to trust? It feels like everyone has an agenda these days.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming for sure. And that's where those media literacy skills come back in. It's about developing that ability to evaluate information, with a critical eye, to recognize biases, both in ourselves and the stuff we're reading or watching. And then, we can finally make up our own minds about what we believe and what we want to share.
So it's not enough to just find the right sources, right? It's like we need to be smart about how we're actually taking in that information, no matter where it's coming from.
Exactly. It's about being an active participant. Not just passively letting the information wash over you. And that's actually a perfect segue into Villalobos' big call to action. He doesn't just want us to be aware of the problem, he wants us to do something about it.
Okay, so what can we do? How do we actually become part of the solution?
Well, for one, I think we can all be a lot more mindful about the things we're sharing online. If we're constantly reposting content that's super sensationalized or emotionally charged, we're kind of contributing to the problem,
Yeah, it's like we become part of that algorithm without realizing it, amplifying the noise instead of adding something useful to the conversation.
Exactly. Instead, we should be making an effort to share stuff that's well-researched, thought-provoking, different perspectives, all that good stuff. Let's be the ones who are actually raising the quality bar online.
I love that. So it's not just about changing our own habits. It's about trying to make the whole information ecosystem better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as leaving a thoughtful comment on something, or, just having a respectful dialogue online, or even just clicking that like button for content that's promoting actual critical thinking and nuanced discussion.
Yeah. We're all investors in this attention economy thing.
Yeah.
Right? And we get to choose where we put our support, which creators, even which platforms actually reflect the things we care about.
Precisely. And it's important to remember, it's not about trying to silence the voices that we disagree with. It's more about making space for conversations that are more thoughtful and more nuanced, just better all around.
It's like we're trying to build a healthier public square online where everyone has a voice at the table, but we're all committed to actually listening to each other and having, real conversations.
One thing from Villalobos' piece that really stayed with me was that last thought he leaves us with. He asks, what does it actually mean to have control over the things we consume? And that just got me thinking, it feels like a question we could all benefit from asking ourselves.
Totally. Because it's not just about clicking different links or following a wider range of news sources. It's about looking inward a little bit too. What are my own motivations? What are my own biases? Why do I gravitate towards certain types of information? It's about being honest with ourselves.
Exactly. It's like a lifelong journey of, self-reflection and critical thinking.
Yeah.
But it's a journey worth taking if we actually want to be, good citizens in this digital world, informed and engaged.
I couldn't agree more. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of algorithms and this whole attention economy thing. Huge thanks to Carlos Villalobos for giving us so much to think about.
My pleasure. It was great exploring all of this with you.
And a huge thank you to all of you for listening. We always love to hear what you're thinking, so if anything resonated with you, let us know. What are some of the steps you're going to take to be a more conscious consumer of all this information that's out there? Share your thoughts with us on social media using #DeepDiveAlgorithms. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.